through the pandemic with comedian Ms. Arkansas. Tune in each and every Monday through Saturday.
That's right. We are zooming through the pandemic. No, it do not mean we're going through it fast. It only means we're going through this together. And before I bring my special guest, very special guest, before I bring him on, I have a little information to share. 85 children under the age of 2 tested positive for the coronavirus in Texas County as U.S. set new records. The Nueces County Health Director said 52 was under 1 year old, and these babies haven't had the first birthday yet. And then other news on today, Rep. Mr. John Lewis, a civil rights icon who began pushing for the racial justice in the Jim Crow Smith, has died at the age of 80. And guess what? I was so blessed to be seen on BET in the audience saying happy birthday to him at the 51st NAACP Image Award. So that was truly a blessing. And now with that being said, this young man, I don't think he's young, but anyway, this young man I'm getting ready to bring on, he's a very, very good friend now, and he's a special guest. He's a pastor, and he also served, what you serve in? I don't want to get it mixed up. Some people get mad when you call it the military, the Navy, the
U.S. Army. U.S. Army.
U.S. Army. There you go. Yeah. He also served in the U.S. Army. He's one of the funniest Christian comedians in the world. And we have him right now live with us, y'all, the Bishop of Comedy, Mr. Reggie Reg. How you doing, sir?
I am fine, sis. I am fine. And I'm so glad you texted me yesterday, because I had forgot. Everything just been going so much. I was like, I thought it was yesterday. You know, I was like, oh, you mean next Friday? But no, but I'm here. You know, I'm excited. I thank you for allowing me to come on your platform along with all of my friends, all 3 of them. You know,
right? It might be more.
Oh, okay. And just to come on the platform and just be able to share and just whatever I could do. You know, we need something different in these days and time. Oh, wait, I got to get my microphone, because I see you got a microphone. So I got to get my microphone. But maybe you want to share like some you have on here.
Share what?
Share some stuff. You let people know that to mute their microphones and stuff like that.
Oh, yes. If you have noise or whatever going on in your back, you know, mute your mic.
In the background.
And if you have a question or a comment for Mr. Reggie Reg, it's a chat thing down there. You just put it in there, or just say, I would like to, or something like that. And then you'll have the right to unmute yourself to ask that instead of typing it. I'd rather hear it, you know.
Right. Okay.
So, but other than that, I'm just smiling. You know what? You are the first one on the end of week number 15. I got 2 more guests, then that'll be the end of week number 15.
All right, congratulations.
Man,
Congratulations.
I think I'm gonna do it till I get to week number 20. Then I'm gonna start me a workout class.
yeah. You know what? I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna let you do it.
A workout class.
I'm kind of
do it together. Men and women works out.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. You know,
like
get
the
little
sister
workout
said
on.
the other day, the show we did, like she said, we lost our personal trainer, the pastors, you know, telling us to stand and sit and turn. And
sit down, turn.
That was so funny.
That's well. But you know, just so tell me how you been.
I'm good. You know what, Bishop, I am good. I found out that even through this mess, I'm still blessed. You know,
Right.
God wake me up every morning in my right mind. All my
Yeah.
limbs are working. You know, I'm not homeless. My bank account ain't got a whole lot of zeros yet, but
Right.
it ain't no
Amen.
negative zero. And going
Amen.
through this pandemic, I done seen him work and I ain't have to have no money. So one of my good friends knocked on the door, went to get
I'm
grocery
running.
and brought me grocery and I didn't even ask for it, you know? So I done
God
seen
is
it
good.
work without money, but
God is good. So
come
I'm
on,
gonna be.
overall, I am a man. And then my baby boy, I got 2 sons incarcerated. And
Uh-huh.
my baby boy told me a while back that some of the officers was coming in sneezing and stuff, you know, and coughing, and they few of the inmates had got that virus. So then he was like, they was being tested. Then he called me back, Mama, they lost our test. Then they had to get another test. Make a long story short, he just called me this morning and said all is good.
All is
So,
good.
yes, even though I was like on pins and needles, at the end of the day, I'm still a praying mother, and I was trusting that God had his protective hedge around mine anyway.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I'm gonna get my other microphone. But you know, it's what's amazing. What's amazing about all of this? People tease me about sometimes I like to wear sandals. You know, I like to keep my feet out. And but so I just decided I'm throwing away the sandals. I'm throwing them away. You know, now I'm just gonna walk around with no shoes on.
Don't
You
throw
know what I'm
away your
saying?
sandals. That look like the one
No.
Jesus wore.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, and that's why I'm throwing them. You know, because I can't feel his shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Right.
So you know, so I now it's my microphone, and you know, but the great thing about it, I love what do you want to ask me? Just go ahead, shoot, let it rip. We had a good
I'm gonna get to
conversation.
the questions. I just wanted to share with you. We gonna let her say that to you.
What?
Talking about some
Somebody say
banana
something?
splits. Listen, I just want to share this before I get to asking you the questions.
Yeah. Okay.
One of my friends, she know that I'm a picky eater, right?
What?
And she asked me, she said, what if you was back in the Bible days when Jesus turned all that bread, you know, one loaf of bread into all that bread and one fish into all them fish, right?
Right.
She said, would you have eaten that? I said, yeah, I would have ate some of that bread. She said, what about the fish? I said, honey, I would have had to ask Jesus, where is that burning bush so I could fry that fish or bake it or broil it or something.
Hey, well, that's a good question. What type of fish was it? Was it fried, baked, broiled?
It really don't say, huh?
No,
I feel
that's
if
a
he
good
just
question.
laid them out there, they came out the ocean.
Yeah, well, you know, yeah.
But we'll talk about that on another time. So, Mr. Reggie, who or what inspired you to be a comedian?
Great question. Shout out to my mother who's gone home to be with the Lord. She actually, and I can remember like way back, I was like 5. And so my mom and my stepdad was getting a divorce. And they were in the living room, they were in the dining room having a conversation. And so my mom had gotten upset and she began to cry. And it was like, that's mama. You know what I mean? I'm looking at my mother cry. So it was like, I just kicked in instantly. What can I do to make her laugh? And from that point on, I went in there and just acted, you know, they had a James Brown. James Brown was real popular back then and everything. And I put on the James Brown record and I just started dancing and I just started making her laugh and I was just doing all kind of silly faces and stuff. And so from that point on, I always wanted to make my mother laugh. So with that, I had to come up with different things. Some were funny, some were not. But
Right.
she know that I was trying to entertain her, and then it just spread it to the grandmama. Then it spread it. She used to have a lot of basement parties. I went down there and did, you know, I snuck down there. You know, I had to make some money. You know what I'm saying? And so and it just blew from there. And I've just always been silly. And so I found out my dad's silly. And so my mom has a sense of humor, but I just took it to the whole nother level. So ever since I was little, I've always wanted, and then my mom always teased me because my sister, she had two. My sister is very dark. As you can see, I'm not dark. And so when they brought the baby, they brought me to my mom, she was like, I know this a joke. This ain't my baby. This a little white boy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out, Paul. Please hush your mouth, Paul. And say, this a little white boy. I know good and well this ain't my child. And my grandmother had to
right there. Right.
My grandmother had to convince her that I was her son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's where it all came from. And then I just like laughter. I love it.
So since you are one of the funniest Christian comedians, I'm glad you didn't just say comedian because I would have to argue.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Oh, about how long have you been doing it professionally? Because some people,
Christian comedy
all my life, you ain't been on no mic all your life. So how long have you been doing it?
Christian comedy or comedy?
Christian comedy.
Christian comedy. And I kind of shared with you about my wilderness experience. So this is going on, what is this? What are we at, 2020?
Right.
Ever since 2006. So going on 14 years. Actually, 14 years I have been doing Christian comedy.
Wow.
And 14 years. And it started off with exposure. You know, you come in for exposure. Then it went from exposure to church dinner. Then it went from that to, we'll give you a ticket to come to our banquet so you can perform and get exposure. Then I got my first $25, and I didn't know how to act, on the $25. But now it goes up. The highest I've ever been paid was $7,000, $7,000. And one of the things that set me apart from everyone else, well, I'm not saying set me apart, is I don't ask, when they say how much you charge, I don't ask for honorarium. I use wisdom. Right. I say, whatever God lay on your heart to give me. So now you ain't gonna lie on God. I know God didn't tell you to give me no 2 hot dogs for 50 cents. And so, so it went from there to where I am now. I have performed my Church Without Walls, Houston, Texas. I've been there 3 times. They have 28,000 members. So that was like my biggest arena platform, all the way down to a church where I perform for 5 people. You're still gonna get the same thing because of the fact that, people have to understand I'm not doing it to make people laugh. I'm doing it to win souls.
Right.
And so my comedy is ministry. And so I've been in, people say, because I was talking to a pastor one time, it was a white pastor actually, and he said, well, I got on Google and I Googled Black Christian comedians. I said, well, I'm not a Black Christian comedian. I happen to be Black, but I am I am a Christian comedian, and so that's for all, because really, as we know, Christianity has no color. Even though I tell about different things in the Bible that joke about it. A white church, Hispanic church. Is that somebody mute?
No, it was freezing.
Oh, okay. So what about
all this stuff? That's why it's good you're a pastor and a bishop and all that good stuff. And I pray all your followers know Jesus too, because after a while, all this mess gonna shut down.
Woo! and so the fact that so I'm just 14 years having a ball, love it, would not trade it for the world. I don't worry about money because I know that what me and God had to talk about. and he is true to his word. Thank you, Jesus.
Right.
Because, I stepped out on faith June of 2016. And I walked away. I had my own truck. I was doing, making deliveries across the metropolitan area and making some pretty good money, and just walked away and gave him the truck back. And then I never went back. Never went back. And so God is just constantly putting people, places, and things in front of me. I've traveled, even last year, 53 cities that I've traveled, 2 countries, and just having a ball. And I just thank God for all of it.
Good. Look, you've been all them places. Good God is with you, because you would have had that virus.
Woo! Yes, indeed. But God covered me.
For real,
God
we don't know
me.
where it came from, when it happened, or none of that.
Right.
But
yeah,
being a child of God, you know what I'm saying? It's like stuff bounce off of us.
Yeah.
You know?
It does. It does. And so,
Wow.
but God's been good. God, even this year, I was able to I did 14 flights this year, before all the pandemic had hit. And again, I just give God the honor and the glory because of all of that. And shout out to Givelify, that wonderful mobile app company. Plug, right. They believed in me, and I showed them what I can do, and we became a perfect match. And so I can't wait to get back out on the road. Oh my God.
I know it. Wait. I have about 5 more clean jokes I'll be able to open up for you. But I always tell them, when they pay me to do clean comedy, I let them know if I run out of clean jokes, I'll sing you a church song. And they be like, oh my God, you can sing.
You got because he lives. And that's the thing. If I run out of jokes, I can't sing. I'm in trouble. So I
dance or preach or something.
Amen.
Oh,
amen.
Hey, but I gotta,
So, Mr. Reggie,
talk to me.
I know you've been blessed by God and all that good stuff. Have you ever had a heckler? And if you have, how did you deal with them?
In church?
Church, out of church, damn one of them.
Well, since I've been the last 14, that's all I do is churches and corporate events. I don't do any clubs. I don't do.
Right.
Well, church, every now and then you'll get somebody unchurched that comes to a church comedy show and feel they want to yell out. And I always tell them kindly, I'm saved, but ain't delivered from some things. One thing that I will not let you do is steal my show from me. Now, we can make this whole show about you, or we can make it about comedy. Whichever way you want to do it,
it's over.
We can do it like that. Yeah, and see, I use the Jedi mind trick. I've said very little. I let the audience get them. Because I'll say, look, these people paid all this money or paid whatever amount of money to come in to hear me, not you. Now, I use that reverse psychology on them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can get with her. I'm not going to let you take my show. But as far as the church is concerned, I'll say something like, you're being disobedient.
Right.
Yeah. Get thee behind me, Satan. You know what I'm saying? And what can they? Yeah, Satan. This is not. You're in the house of the Lord.
Him, so they gonna shut up.
Yeah. And church folks will get you. Oh, one of the mothers that come on and shut it up.
You know what? Real quick before I get back to you, I did a show at a convalescent home with a comedian, and she said the person that paid her, us or whatever, said, "Do you?" So me personally, if I walk in anywhere and I can hear an elderly person cursing, that don't mean I'm a curse. And we walked in there and these people on breathing machines and everything look like they about to take their last breath.
Yeah.
So I knew some of the jokes I wasn't gonna say. My friend, she went in there, she was letting them have it. That little man, he couldn't hardly move. He shaking, he stood up. He said, "You gonna have to watch your mouth." It was too
Yeah.
funny. He couldn't even move, but he stood up on her. And then I went up after her, and I did all my clean comedy. I asked, was it anybody's birthday? I had them singing happy birthday, just showed them a real good time. And when the show was over, they was all over me, but I felt bad for her.
Hey, main thing, you got to know your audience. That if you don't, when I go to churches, especially I went to a Titus Harvest Dome in Jacksonville, Florida.
Right.
And they were like, well, we're going to put you in the green room and you could just relax. And I was like, green room? Yeah. We don't want the other people disturbing you and stuff. I was like, oh, no. I said, I'm not a green room type of guy. I'm not green M&Ms and purple. No, I need to be out there where the people is so I can get a feel. I can get the spirit of where I'm going. And I listen to the conversations that I don't, especially if I'm new to the city or something like that. And they don't know who I am, so they're not going to harass me and jump. They might, few of them recognize me from the advertisement, but no. One thing about that I will always be is humble. I will be humble. Anybody want an autograph, I will sign it. Anybody want to take a picture, I will take a picture. I don't care. But I've been around comedians and gospel artists who are so stuck up, who is so, just they got talent but no anointed. And so it is just ugly. It's just a real ugly attitude. And I'll be like, I don't want to be around you because I don't want that spirit to jump on me, which I know it won't because I'm covered.
Bishop, I was the same way before this virus. And the doors open back up for us to go out there. I'ma still love on my fans and all that good stuff. But if they want a picture, I'm gonna have to photobomb them.
That's it. Yeah, just
ain't no more getting beside me and me beside you, and they love kissing me on my jaw. They show so much love, but I just can't take that chance no more.
I'm gonna take the picture, but it's gonna be like the guy on Roland Martin. Roland Martin, you know who Roland Martin is, right?
Right.
BET.
I met him at the NAACP Image Award.
You say, if you say, hey, I want to take a picture with you, he gonna take your phone and he gonna hold it way out and he gonna take the picture. He gonna dictate what type of picture to come through that phone. So I'm gonna have to steal his stuff. But no. But you just gotta stay humble. I just want to stay humble. But yeah, so
and mention of being humble, when did you know that you was called by
God? I knew a long time ago. Just like Jonah, I was running from my calling. My sister was murdered due to domestic violence. And she was out in Seattle, Washington, and they had no preacher. So me get up, and I actually spoke at the funeral, which wound up being the eulogy. And this guy came and said, this was in 94, 95, came up and said, you gonna be a preacher. I cussed that man out all sideways, up, down.
After you preached at the funeral?
I told him, ain't no way that I'm gonna be a preacher. And look at me now. But he told me, but I ran from it. But deep down inside, I always knew I was a child of God, but I didn't know how to express it the right way. Wow. In order to be really a child of God, you got to read the book. You got to read the instructions. He gave us a book to read. And so therefore, there are a lot of people who claim to be a child of God, but haven't read the book and don't know nothing about the book. And so they just, on their own ideology, I just been waiting to use that word. I don't know if I put it in the right place.
Do you know how to spell it?
But yeah,
that's all right.
Okay. All right. But and the real Christians know the book.
Right.
You got a lot of church folks out there that say they Christians, but they church folks because they don't know the book. And so but you got to read it. And so,
Me
but
personally, I don't know the whole book, but I know what
I
he
didn't say
have
the
put
whole
in.
book.
I'm just saying, I just know
Yeah.
what he have placed in me.
Right. But you gotta spend time with him. You know what
Right.
I'm not you, but just saying personally, you got to spend time with
right.
him. And every day I read a proverb and a psalm, and then I do a Bible study every day. That's a 30-minute Bible study, and then I'm actually going through the Bible right now with a friend. We're reading the whole Bible. She wanted to read the whole Bible together, and so I was like, okay, cool. And so, but I get that knowledge. I still got, it's cleansing me out. It's like one of them laxatives. It's still, still struggling from time to time. Yeah. Yeah. But is that Paul? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
He said laxative.
Right. I said, and it's still running.
It's still running. So it's a cleansing. It's a daily cleansing.
You're right.
Even though I read, and some days I'm good, but some days I fall. But I get back up, but I still strive for the Lord. And I know he is a good God, and I know he real. And
That's
so
right.
What's the next question? Let me get another microphone.
Before we go to the next question, I told him out of the 51 years I've been living, I've learned to trust God when I can't trust myself.
You better say it.
I got me in so much stuff. I did time in prison. I did drugs. I shoplifted. I did it all. But God delivered me from all that too.
Delivered you.
I got me in that. God ain't never got me in no mess, but he done got me out of so much mess.
Yeah.
So
he allowed you to get in it. Yeah. And, speaking of prison, we're going to talk about that. I done told you mine. And so, 96 months federal prison sentence. I did 7 years on 8, and let me tell you, people say, well, did you get an education when you was in here? Did you take some college courses? What did you do? I say, I learned about who my Savior is. I had to learn, and that's what he wanted me to do, learn about who the Son is. And when I did that, OMG, whole new attitude when I came out. Went in a different person, came out a totally different person, saved, delivered, and I'm sorry, set free. And so, again, but I thank be to God, I really cherish that moment. Away from the fam, just me and God, just me and God. 2 hours a day, I read scriptures. 2 hours a day, that was my average. Read scriptures 2 hours a day, study, listen to Bible, great Bible teachers, and learned about that word of God. I love the word of God. I love it, man, because it motivates me, and I can, and people be talking, and I'll come up and I'll just say something from the Bible that was like, how you know all of that stuff? Read the book. It's in the book. Bible got everything you want in it. It got a love story in the Songs of Solomon. You want some erotic stuff? Read the book. Read it. And so, but it teaches you how to stay humble, how to be humble. I would never try to compare myself to Christ or be above Christ. Amen. I am beneath him. I worship him and I love him. But
so
come on,
I know everything is like on lock right now, but are you working on anything that you could share?
Yeah. So basically, there's a couple of things that I'm working on. I'm the type of person that if somebody else has a project, I will put mine to the side to help them, because I believe that's one of my callings that I have. One of my main callings is that I'm working on a nonprofit organization. I have it all up here. It's called Not Forgotten Children of Incarcerated Parents. Wow. Those are the forgotten children. Those are the ones that didn't have to be put in that situation. I work with my family that owns a funeral home, and one of the young men whose brother was killed, he got up and he began to talk, and he began to say how, you know, he was out there, he had to grow up by himself because he didn't have a father figure at home. And his mother was out in the street. And, you know, his father was in prison and all of that. And he had to raise himself and wound up going to prison. But he was like, if I'd had a father, if I'd have had a mentor, if I'd have had somebody who could have steered me in the right direction. Now I'm out in the streets. Now I'm doing this gang stuff. This ain't what I want to do. But y'all just need to get some help, you know. And that's exactly what my program is going to be all about. That we don't want these
brother,
kids.
I have a client for you. My next to the oldest son, he should be getting out the end of this year. God say the same. But he got 5 children, and I tell him all the time, them kids didn't ask to be here.
Yeah.
So he got to get out and do what's right and spend the rest of the time that he had with them, and hopefully they'll forgive him and all of that, you know.
Yeah, and I have 5. I have 4 when I went in, and what is another one? That's he 14. Do the math. And so but that's it. I used them as an example because they didn't know how I was going to be when I came home. They were terrified of me.
Right.
Because TV portray stuff that's not really the truth in prison and once you get out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you can tell him, I love to talk to him and tell him it ain't gonna be easy. But with God on your side, he ain't gonna just spoon feed you. You're gonna have to work for what you're gonna get. But he gonna be right there with you.
Cut you off on that one. He seen it by his mama, because I did 4 years, and when I got out, instead of becoming one of the worst criminals there is, I became one of the best comedians there is. Like you say, it's hard out here, but if you got God on your side, ain't nothing you can't go through.
Hey, don't nobody want to hire you. Don't nobody want to let you live in their apartments.
That's why I became a comedian and get my own work.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Reggie, I have 5 kids in my home right now. Their parents are incarcerated, and they need exactly what you're talking about. Wow. And I didn't mean to interrupt, but I got 5 kids, and they are Black. We do foster care.
Okay.
And their parents are incarcerated. And because of foster care, that's how we got these kids, but their parents are in jail, and they don't know their father. All they know is their mother, and they need a program, what you guys are talking about so bad. So I believe that's a God thing.
Hey, Paul, I'm going to come down there and see you, man. You're only 100 miles away. I'm going to come down, and man, that's why I never really deleted you off of Facebook, Paul, because I knew it was something that I loved about you, and I just couldn't delete you, no matter how mad you made me sometimes. But man, look, Paul, I promise I want to get down there and talk to him. I want to love on him. Hey, man, yeah, we're going to talk about that, Paul, for real.
Wow.
Yeah, for real. And, but yeah, so that's what I got going. And then a friend of mine, Tiffany Hollis out of Dallas, she has an organization. She started a nonprofit called Reset. And Reset Mobile is what she's a beautician. And what her concept is basically going out to reach the homeless, cutting their hairs, you know, getting them up, putting professional clothing on them, and just kind of getting that life back into them. You know what I'm saying? And be able to show them and instruct them about, you know, how to go and do an interview, you know, because people who, you know, they out in the streets, they just have no hope. So if you get your haircut, you know, I shaved before I came. You know, I was looking bad, but I shaved, you know, and I feel better. You know, it's off my face and all of that, you know. And so when she told me about her nonprofit organization is Reset, Reset Inc. Yeah, Reset. Tiffany, text me, let me know. But again, it's about service to people. She has a heart for the people. So if your organization has a heart for the people, I'm all for. I put mine to the side, and then we can intertwine with it. But the main thing, we are here not to take it all and get these great big houses and do all of that. We're not here for that. We're here to be servants. And being servants is what is required for us. So those are the things that I got. And then, of course, whenever it's available, I'm gonna set up a tour with Givelify. We're gonna do a tour. You know, I've been talking with Dorinda Clark and Leandra Johnson and things like that. And so yeah, it's Reset Inc. What, Tiffany, text me the website. And so just I got a lot of stuff planned. But first I gotta get out this country.
Bishop, I'm getting ready to cancel this program because I paid for an hour and they telling me I got like 1 minute left and it'll shut me down. So what I'm gonna do is ask your people to use that same passcode and password, and we gonna come back because I need you to finish this, but they'll delete it and won't let this part upload. So we gonna come back, y'all.
All right, come back, y'all. All right.
Okay.